stretch before I get to work. And this one I've got to go slow anyway because it's a nice little windy road. I probably have 15 minutes, I think, and I'll be there. Thought I would have a little bit of daily discussion. On the radio this morning, just as I pushed the button to press record, they were talking about the news, and there must be a new bullfrog pizza from Pizza Hut in China. So if you live in China and you have a Pizza Hut near you, they're doing a bullfrog pizza, and I don't know what's on it except a deep fried bullfrog is on it. Gross. Who comes up with this crap? We didn't have water this morning. We went and bought new heat tape to put on the hose. So I don't know exactly where it got frozen. I don't know if it's frozen at the hose, if it's frozen at the well house. I don't know. We also have a little bit of a trouble with a certain dog who likes to chew up the tarp over her cage, and so now her tarp is in tatters. They don't sleep in their kennels anyway. None of them do. Diesel does. Well, we specifically put him in at night. But even Crew doesn't. They don't. And it really, through the list of things that piss me off, is people who absolutely lose their shit about dogs must be inside. Bring your dog inside. It's too cold. It's not too cold. I mean, it's freaking cold. It's not too cold for a dog. So literally, holy shit. Yeah, you're welcome to be on my side of the road. It's a big, huge, like 53-footer, but it's full of garbage. And this is a skinny road. I mean, I can keep my butt on my own half of the road, but he obviously couldn't keep his butt on his. That also irritates me. There's a division in the road for a reason. Yeah, so you own half the road. If you can't, don't drive this road. The people that are just so self-righteous isn't maybe quite the right word for it. And now we stop. Dude's just standing. There's no markings. There's no. I wish I could flip it around so you could see this. There's no, hey, there's a flagger up ahead. There's nothing. I happen to know that when I was here last week, they were doing kind of the same thing. There is a kind of a ditch witch, is what we would call it. It's got a hose cable over here on the side. Oh, here's another junkie. I don't know if I can grab this truck as it goes by or not. That's what I meant that was on my side of the road. Yikes. Dude's gonna get run over. It's only 45 anyway. Out where the other one is. So I passed those guys, but they don't have a flag, so I'm sure it's not them. I'm guessing. Oh, here's more, but there's not another flagger down here. Oh, there's the other flagger. Yikes. Anyway, but just people, keyboard warriors online, thinking that they know absolutely everything, and that the way you do it absolutely does not work because the internet told them it doesn't work, and so you're wrong. And there's absolutely no getting through them is not really the point. But there's no reasoning. There's no explaining to somebody, hey, you can do it your way, and that's fine. I can do it my way because it works for me, and that's fine. There's not a one size fits all for most things in life. Like a good 75% of life is you feed your garden what you need to. What do I put on my tomato plants to make them X, Y, and Z? Well, there's some universals. They need calcium. If they have too much manganese, even if they have enough calcium, no matter how much calcium you put on them, it's not going to help. Manganese is what I think carries the calcium up too, but I'm not sure about that. But what it does is I know if there's too much manganese, the calcium can't get up into the plant to get into the fruit. So it's kind of one of those, like, no matter what you do. Now, that's why we are making foliar calcium sprays. So that whole dump the eggshells in the ground when you plant the plant. Okay, do it, fine. But it's also not going to become an available source of calcium soon enough for that plant to use it. So right now, or all year long, if every time you get eggshells, you crush them up, which it's easier if you dry them first. Not that you have to, but it's easier to crush them if they're dried. My trick with that, I think I've said it before, because I like to function stack, meaning if I'm already doing something, we had the little, we call him Benjamin. He's like an air fryer, but he's one that has like 2 double doors, a bigger version, and he does baking and air frying and all that kind of stuff. He's not a very good baker because the heating elements are too close to the bottom of the pan, but he's better than nothing. And he uses electricity, which we have plenty of right now. I mean, obviously I have to pay for it, which sucks, but we don't have a ton of gas at the moment because it is cold here in the great state of Tennessee. And the lows, I think last night was probably 20. It said 20 when I woke up this morning. It says 32 now, so excellent. But we don't have a lot of gas. We have to buy those little dumb tanks that go on your gas grill. Not fun. When I was in our house, what I would do is I keep a sheet pan with parchment paper over it, just sitting in the oven, doing nothing, like just sitting there. And then when you use eggs, because in the beginning of our life, you would use 2, 3, 4 eggs at a time. Now we quite literally don't cook less than a dozen or 2 at a time. And what you do is you take those eggshells, so crack the eggs open. Also, if you're not cracking eggs into a separate container, what are you doing with your life? How is this not a thing? And I think it's not a thing because most people have grown up buying store-bought eggs that they've never had to, quote, worry about or think that they've had to worry about. But just learn, it's kind of one of those best practices, which I talk about a lot online. Yes, you can do it your way, but the best practices way, especially for somebody who's starting sourdough, fire cider, any of those things, start with kind of, I'm going to say a recipe. No, there's not really a recipe. There's guidelines. Start with guidelines. Start there. And then once you have successfully made a batch, then go crazy. Like, do whatever else you want. But until you can get one batch, and then you come back online and say, hey, none of my shit works. Well, what did you do? Well, I just added freaking everything. Well, then none of us can tell you, we can't tell you what you've done wrong or where you may have gone wrong if you can't tell us your process and if you haven't done it the regular way or the easy way, or the step 1 way first. Take your eggshells, use the eggs, dump them in a separate container. Meaning, if you need 2 eggs for a recipe, crack an egg into just a 1 cup measuring cup. Look at it, smell it, make sure it doesn't have any blood in it, if it's way runny, like if you crack it and just breaks everywhere, definitely smell it. It's probably not, it's most likely just not fresh. There's probably nothing wrong with it, but that is like step 1 of the chickens being fed or not getting a balanced ration of nutrition. Then take that cup and dump that into whatever your pancake mix that you're making, and then use that cup and fill it up again. If you do happen to get a rotten one or a bloody one or whatever, put it in your compost bin. Rinse. We just rinse the cup very well, rinse it, and then try again. And that way you don't ruin a whole batch of pancakes because one of the eggs that you happen to have a little dent in it and got bacteria in it and rotted, and now you just have to throw away your entire pancake mix or cake mix or whatever. And in my life, we do make our own pancake mix from scratch. We don't buy pancake mix. But in my life, if I had brownie mix and I put a rotten egg in it because it fell in there and I have to throw that out, nobody's getting brownies for a while because I don't have 10 boxes of mix like I used to. I mean, we used to have a little shelf that had them all kind of lined up, and we have muffin mixes, and maybe we'll do that again sometime. Hopefully not. We're trying to get away from boxed mixes.
In 1 mile, turn right onto Palmer Road.
But I don't have the storage space in our camper to have a bunch of those. So the kids then aren't getting any for a while. The whole point is we are not ruining our stuff. Crack the eggs, take the eggshell, set it on the tray in the oven. Just set them on the tray. We kind of know enough now that as we put them on the tray, we just put them in one layer. You know how sometimes you will crack an egg and then set them inside of each other. It doesn't really matter. Then, one day, when you go to bake brownies, cake, cookies, casserole, whatever you're baking in your oven, turn the oven, take your pan out, full of eggshells, set it off to the side, put your lasagna in your oven, turn it on, heat it up, put whatever in there that you need. Then what you do is pull your food out of the oven when it's
turn right onto Palmer Road.
Set it on your stove, counter, wherever. Turn off your oven just like you would like you're done. Take your pan of eggshells and stick it back in the oven. As the oven cools down, you are using that
in 1.3 miles. Take a slight right turn onto Business US 70 East.
Extra, it would just go into the room. That is now drying your eggshells. When they are done, you can take the whole parchment paper and everything and squish it all up. Eggshells will cut you. They will stick in your fingers. They're just not fun. So we end up either throwing them in a paper bag or folding the other thing is then they will punch through the parchment. And once parchment paper has been cooked, heated, it becomes kind of brittle and not exact, like it doesn't hold up well anymore. We've reused ours several times, but if you're going to use it to help mash your eggshells, it won't work. It'll poke through, it'll make holes. So just, fold it over if you want to. Take a rolling pin and roll them. A lot of times, I don't even know if I have a rolling pin right now. I gotta think about that. Last one died in the fire. And I don't know that I have another one. Take a glass, put it on its side. That's how we crush graham crackers most of the time. Put graham crackers, put a few in a Ziploc bag when you're wanting to do like a graham cracker crust. Put them in a Ziploc bag and turn a glass on its side and use it to crush. Very simple. I use the
At the
bottom.
next stop sign, take
Very
a slight
easy
right
peasy.
turn.
That's what you do. Crush your eggshells up. It'll make a nice fine powder. Now, somebody will tell you, hey, go put it in water. Fine. But I don't think you're going to extract the calcium out of the eggshell with water. Maybe. I don't know how to test that. I should have been more scientific as a child, I guess. Because there's some other things that I would really like to test.
At the stop
right
sign,
now.
take a slight right turn onto Business US 70 East.
But we extract ours slightly different. I mean, it would that way would still work. We extract ours with vinegar, because vinegar breaks that down, and that's how I was taught. Let's see if we can not get rid of
In
the
about
guys
1
here.
mile, turn right.
On a normal basis, plenty of time to pull out, but I'm going to turn up here, so it's just a dump truck. Still not going to get run over by a dump truck today. All right. The only other thing that I wanted to, that one turned. Oh shit! It's very hard to see the little cars. Thought there was something else. Like I said, none of the dogs sleep in their cages. Don't be that person. Don't think that your way to make a cake, or your way to make, your way to feed animals, your way to house animals, your way to raise your kids. Now, are there some fundamental wrongs? Yeah, if you teach your kid that everybody has to share whenever they say that they have to share, and they're allowed just to go up and take something from somebody and be like, you have to share, that's wrong. You're teaching them wrong. But if you choose to spank a child and I choose not to spank a child, it's not wrong. As long as the outcome is a good child. And there are many people who will argue spanking creates violence. Nope. None of my children are violent. Pains in the butt. Some days. They're teenagers. But none of my kids have become violent because they got a swat on the butt or a smack on the hand when they were doing things that weren't
Turn right,
appropriate.
then arrive at your destination.
Think about that this week. Think about your way is not always right. Your way is not the only way. Just wait until you get married. You'll realize there are some really crazy people out there. My husband's family, they had to really get over it. They were under the weird family rule that anything that you got for Christmas could not be something that you needed. So no socks, no underwear, no t-shirts. I mean, if it was she gave me a nightgown. If it was a funny, like it was, oh, ha, that's hilarious t-shirt. That's quote different. But nothing that's necessary, nothing that's a need. Where I come from,
Arrive at
we
Special
get those
Operations
because we need
Equipment.
them. And they
Arrived.
they double as Christmas gifts when we didn't have enough money to buy everybody Christmas gifts. I had cousins that we would buy stuff for, and we all loved it because we knew we always were going to get new socks and underwear every year. And I know that's weird to some people, but what you also have to realize is that it happens when you're poor. We can have the whole Santa Claus discussion later, because we should really not, in my opinion, you want to teach a kid about Santa Claus, teach a kid about Santa Claus. But also, don't get pissed off if somebody else accidentally ruins it for them because they don't believe, or because they no, we always taught our kids, hey, you shouldn't, like, don't try and ruin it for anybody. But also, the problem is they're going to end up defending their parents. Like, well, my parent says he doesn't exist. That is not the part that matters near as much as understanding that if you do Santa Claus, the biggest present should not come from Santa. That is what, it's just ridiculous. You make the biggest gift from Santa. Kids are going to go to school, and I learned this because I had foster kids. Kids are going to go to school, and they're going to be like, well, how come Johnny asked for a bike and Santa gave Johnny a bike, but Lucy asked for a dolly and Santa got her a notebook? Why does Santa like him and not like me? Or why does Santa give that kid what he wants but doesn't give me what I want? Make sure that the biggest and best gift is from the family. From you, from the parents. Doesn't that make the most amount of sense? All right, working on spreading missing information. See you later.